Saints made it hard for you, but it seemed like you had an answer every time they challenged today. How did you see it?
Yeah, we really respect what they can do, and even when you sort of scan their good players, they're spread all over the ground now, and especially sort of the ball users, and they look dangerous at times. But look, I thought the game was never beyond doubt until very late, but it did feel like we had the game sort of under control or being played the way we wanted to for most of it, albeit they did look a bit more dangerous than we would have liked them to. We thought there were big parts of our games that didn't work particularly well today, and that would have been obvious to everyone. A lot of the stuff was just execution when we had good looks. I think we missed some sitters in front of goal. It was more sort of an execution thing than a structural thing. But in the end, I think I've said before, I just don't look at the ladder anymore. I just assume that the team we're playing is going to play somewhere near their best, and they have tended to this year against us, those teams that are outside the 8 in particular. Excuse me.
You got a lot of rebound off the half-back, particularly in the first quarter, which is not unusual, but it seemed to be working well.
Yeah, a little bit of a shift in personnel. Humphries was a little bit more up the ground. I thought he was influential in that role. That was pleasing for us. De Koning coming back sort of changed that mix for us. It didn't allow Jack Martin to play more in the forward half, but we chose to do that. And he was sort of the recipient of some of that faster ball movement from the back half. And you sort of have to do it against the Saints too. Clearly they were backing in their guys to use the ball a bit more aggressively. When you did turn them over, there was no point going slowly.
And maybe let's have something you also through the comment I mentioned in relation to that. Was that just to instill his qualities in set marks? Simple as that, or?
Not really. No, it was we thought that we'd asked the question of them, and that they really chose that matchup more than we did. So again, I could kind of speculate, but it's probably more for them to work through. We certainly didn't say to Blitzarves that he should go everywhere with Wilkie.
Great to see Ollie Dempsey's 50th game.
Well, it's been a good 50 games. The highlight reel's there already. I think there's going to be a few more in that respect. But look, the way he plays is important to us, and I thought he was a real threat again today. Not always perfect, but it was probably a bit reflective of, I think, our whole team. Even guys that played well had some really good chances that you'd expect us to finish that we didn't. So far from sort of sitting here thinking what a great performance we're flying, I thought there's still plenty to improve on. And Ollie's a very good player, 50 games in, but he's got a lot of improvement left in him.
How much?
Just on his degree, you said maybe a couple of months ago that he could potentially be inside midfielder in the future. Do you think that could come soon?
That's possible, but whenever you think about those things, I'm reminded of Neil Baum when I first started. When I used to throw up ideas, he said, the ideas are easy. The players that make way for them are the hard bit. And we're pretty happy with our inside mid group at the moment, so something would have to give for him to play in there a little bit more. But I can't remember exactly, but I think my recollection is that my reference was more towards him being a player who can play in multiple positions. It could be inside mid. He's a natural forward in my opinion, and he can certainly play up the ground as well.
What are you learning for a player like this, so having such an impact? Use obviously everywhere. What are you learning when you see a player like that kind of get off the leash?
This is the part where I don't tend to sort of give too much away around what we're thinking. But he played as a freewheeling midfielder. And so it's always more complicated than, is this guy getting the ball, should we lock him down? And he's very, very hard to stop getting the ball. I mean, it is possible if you really try to blanket him, but something else has to give. But yeah, his ball use is just so good. He's such a good kick that I think everyone would think you don't want it in his hand too often because good things happen off the back of it. But on balance, we sort of thought that part of the ground we had an advantage in. We think it's fine. So I've said a few times in this forum that we've got a low tolerance these days for keeping guys going when they can. The question shouldn't be can they keep going, the question is should they keep going, and what does it mean for next week or the week after. And the strong suggestion is that he'll be okay for next week, and hopefully that's off the back of chopping him out a little bit earlier.
Is it managed? Something that seems to happen occasionally.
I'd understand why you would say that, but no, that's not the feedback we've got. He just jarred it. I'm speculating now, but he's had an old minor PCL which is why he tapes his knee, but this is unrelated to that.
Is that his right knee as well?
Oh, you're testing me. Mac, do you know?
Not really, no.
Sorry. Go back and look at the vision and see which one's taped.
Sean Manor has kind of been a guy who's probably slid under the radar a little bit. Thought he was excellent today. How do you see his development?
Yeah, he hasn't slid under the radar for us, but we see him every week. He's a really important player. Didn't think he finished his work as well as he normally does, but he was still really, really effective. And there's probably a group of players that for a long period of time we've highly valued, our sort of high running forwards, Close and Myers, those types, and he's slotted really well into that group. He's a fundamental part of the way we play, which is saying something. He hasn't been on our list for that long. He's become important quickly.
Are you comfortable with having those four tools down back, or if you include Stewart as a tool? Mullins developing well, just in terms of your ground coverage down back.
I missed the first bit, Pete, sorry.
Comfortable having those four tools if you include Stewart?
Oh, yeah, we are, because again, without sort of explaining exactly how we think about things, Henry and Stewart could play on the smallest players in the comp. But they give us some flexibility more than us thinking that we're tall. Right, thanks a lot. Enjoy.